All the action packed in 180 minutes. Power Breakfast with Tessa Dooms. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m.
The time is 8:15. You're on Power Breakfast with Tessa Dooms as we land a very, very, very busy plane. This is not just a SAF 11 Rand plane here. We are paying big time for the plane that we are trying to land this morning. So many important conversations that have been happening. And one of them, of course, has been around the city of Joburg and how it is being managed. At the same time, we had the mayor yesterday doing the State of the City address and giving us hopefully a sense of what is to be done about the water, about safety, about work, and about tariffs for services that many people still feel are inadequate. With us this morning and on the line, Mlungisi Mabaso, the MMC for Human Settlements and caucus leader of the IFP in the city of Joburg as part of that coalition government there. Mlungisi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The mayor has now set forth the state of the city. Did it leave you feeling like the mayor has it under control and that the future is brighter for the city?
Well, thank you very much. Greetings to yourself and the listeners. Yes, of course. What is imperative about the State of the City address is that you need to account for the commitments that you have made previously, and unfortunately, because it was his first State of the City address, so it did not require him to account much on the previous commitments. It was only on the commitments that he had made during his acceptance speech 9 months ago, of which he was able to do. Secondly, he was transparent with the challenges which we are facing in the city of Johannesburg, the challenges of the infrastructure decay, the issues of crime, the issues of low revenue collection, the backlog in housing, and the issues of water and electricity. So he was honest and transparent with his assessment. But he then went further also to articulate now on the strategies that we are deploying as part of the interventions in addressing some of these challenges. And I think you would have heard that he's going to declare a state of disaster in crime, so that we are able to access some of the resources for us to deal with criminality in Johannesburg, particularly in our CBDs. He also mentioned the mega developments that will be launching very soon, which combined are going to yield more than 150 housing opportunities. And if you include the existing mega developments, so we are looking at over 200,000 housing opportunities once completed. He spoke about the interventions on electricity, on water, but also he indicated that we must be robust on our response and revenue collection, so that the city is able to collect more for us to invest in the infrastructure development. So he was honest with his assessment, and that's what we appreciated, because it's important that when you deliver State of the City address, you acknowledge the real challenges that our residents faces on daily basis.
While the mayor was delivering that state of state of the city, we also had the president, on the other hand, yesterday delivering a statement around Operation Vulindlela and its second phase, and their focus on spatial planning coming up. I'm hearing a lot from the mayor's desk around housing, and you also, as the MMC of Human Settlements, would understand that at the core of what's going on in the city is a lot of housing challenges. We were talking about Usundiso fire earlier. That in itself, that crisis around hijacked buildings, has a lot to do with housing and housing developments that have not gone well or been hijacked in the process. And then, of course, there's informal settlements that are popping up all around the city. How are these initiatives actually going to now be fulfilled? There have been many initiatives that have been started around housing. There have been many initiatives that have been started around getting informal settlements, toilets or electricity, and then they just don't go anywhere. What is the commitment from the city to making sure there's implementation this time and not just a lot of talk?
Well, I think with human settlements, we've made it easy because when we devised our program of action, I had said to the team in the department that all the programs must be accommodative to our constituencies. So each and every resident must find expression to our programs. And that's why immediately when I got reappointed last year, the mayor said, you are well aware of the challenges with human settlements because you are not there for the first time. What can you do? We initiated a process to engage with the private landowners and the developers, and that's why on Friday we are handing over the site to the developer for the Southern Farms development, which will yield 43,000 housing opportunities in Johannesburg. That is in the Johannesburg South. The mayor announced the development that we are initiating around Midrand, which is called Grand Central, which will yield 83,000 housing opportunities. We have partnered with Calcro in Region E along Alexandra Corridor, and that development will yield 30,000 housing opportunities. In Diepsloot, there is a mega development called Tanganani. We are working together with the province there. We are championing the informal settlements upgrading program and the formalization. We have developed a policy in the City of Johannesburg. We are finalizing the public consultation on the best approach in managing the informal settlements and providing services, because we had identified the fragmentation in our approach with the city entities, and we are responding to that, and we have devised that policy, and we are only left with one region now to consult, and we will then submit that report in council so that we have a coordinated approach in our response in managing and providing services in the informal settlements. We've appointed...
Mlungisi, before you move on from that point, though, that is one of the core issues in the city, is that you have on the one hand the political heads that can come up with all of these plans, but on the other hand, there's almost been an outsourcing of implementation to the entities. The entities have their own boards, the entities have their own operational directors, and we were talking about Helen Bottas earlier, who was leading the Joburg Property Company for a long, long time. Does it not tie the hands of the politicians who set out these grand plans when you have kind of deployed the implementation to entities you don't really have a hold on?
Yeah, well, the reality is that these are city-owned entities. The City of Johannesburg Council, through the executive mayor and the city manager, we are the shareholders. So there is a shareholder policy that guides the governance of the entities. Yes, in terms of the Companies Act, the board is responsible for governance, but the main shareholder and the sole shareholder is the city. And these entities, they are mandated to provide and perform certain functions on behalf of the City of Johannesburg. And the reason these entities were established is because we wanted to secure skills and capacity for us to compete with the private sector. Like, for example, if you want the engineers with Johannesburg Water and City Power, you know how the government is regulated to pay the employees, you wouldn't get the skilled and qualified engineers, so you need to employ them through these entities.
But the question is, has that worked? Has that strategy worked? Have we gotten the right skill set? Even in the boards, there have been major questions around the different boards, around whether or not we've gotten the appropriate skill set, even just at board level. So when you say that there are these consultations happening, I'm hoping that there's a real rethinking of that model, because I'm not sure that it has worked. And before you respond to that, let me just get Joshua to also ask you a question so that you can round up responding to both of us. Joshua from Pretoria, you have a question from Mlungisi.
Yeah, thank you. Quickly, I want to know how they are going to formalize informal settlements, because most of your squatter camps are built on wetlands, on floodplains, on riverbanks, on the mountains, on places which are inappropriate. And also, the population of the squatter camps, people saying they are not South African, they are illegal immigrants, they are criminal fugitives who have ran away from other provinces to come and hide in those squatter camps. Thank you, Tessa.
Mlungisi, maybe just responding to that to wrap it up for us.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have identified vacant land. We are putting services, Road Depot Farm. It's one of the properties that we have identified, and we have installed services there. And the intention is to relocate the informal settlements that are located in an undevelopable spaces. But I am also working with Home Affairs. We are getting into the spaces. We are dealing with foreign nationals, the undocumented foreign nationals, and Home Affairs has really assisted us working together with JMPT and SAPS. I know that they are the majority in the informal settlements, and it's going to take us time to clean and clear the informal settlements, but we are doing these operations, and they've been successful working together with Home Affairs.
Well, Rams Mabote, one of our listeners, they're saying that he's hoping that housing opportunities is more substantive than just showing people plans of housing. But I really actually, Mlungisi, would love to have you back personally, because I do think that this state of the province has escalated and elevated housing as a big priority, and as the Human Settlements MMC, if you would agree to coming back and just having a deep dive into the question of how housing will be resolved, I'd really appreciate that.
No, thank you very much. If you are invited, then we'll avail ourselves.
Sure. That's Mlungisi Mabaso, the MMC for Human Settlements in the City of Johannesburg.